We're now joined in the studio by the CEO of the SAFA Development Agency, Mr. Robin Petersen, to sort of help us chart the way forward for what South African football will look like. Thank you very much for speaking to us this evening, and I know that you braved the traffic to be here. Just give us a quick outline. What is the future of South African football going to look like?
I think it's a very brave and bold and courageous future that we've plotted for ourselves. President Danny Jordan's called it Vision 2022, and it basically says that by 2022 World Cup, which is now only 8 years away, we need to have produced winning national teams that will make the nation proud, that will make us all feel excited again about Bafana and the other teams. And to do that, to get to produce a winning Bafana team, you have to have winning youth teams. You have to have under 17 teams that get to the quarterfinals and beyond of a World Cup. An under 20 team. We've never done that before. So the development process has started. We started last year with under 13s, under 15s. We put in place league structures throughout the country in our 341 local football associations so that we can start to use regular league football at that level to begin to identify the youth talent, then get them into academy structures. We're trying to create 9 provincial academies to license and regulate all the private and the club academies, to incentivize them to be better than they are, to really put our weight behind the National Academy, the Transnet School of Excellence, get it to the level that we all want it to be, so that we have a great talent pipeline that will feed into these youth teams. We will have a common national football philosophy, so that every one of the youth teams is playing the same way, that there'll be continuity from under 17 to under 20 to under 23 to the World Cup.
Absolutely, and that's the biggest thing, continuity. A few months ago, you were in the process of appointing new youth coaches. You were obviously doing interviews and appointments. We've only seen Sheikh's Mashaba taking over the under 17 at one of the tournaments, under 20 at the other tournaments. Where are the other coaches?
You know, those responsibilities lie with the SAFA CEO and the SAFA structures. I know that they have identified under 17 coaches. Sheikhs will be handling the under 20 team, because the under 20 team is effectively our Olympic team for 2016.
That's right.
There's no point in having an under 23 team this year because they won't be eligible for 2016. So the under 20 team that Sheikhs has been working with is the team that will take him through. So he'll continue with that team all the way through to the Olympics and hopefully great success in 2016. So those are the things. I'm really concentrating at the level below that. We have a massive ambitious plan, and that's to train 10,000 coaches a year. It sounds impossible given that since 1997 we've only trained 10,000 coaches in total. So the way that we're conceptualizing it is to say that we need to start at the base with what we call grassroots football, kids between 5 and 12. And those coaches are mainly parents, school teachers and others. It's a 5-day training license. We have the license in place. We're now trying to train 30 coaches in each one of our 341 local football associations every year. That'll give us a base of 10,000 from which we can build. Funding, that's the big challenge, and that's my role, to try and raise those funds and to put in place those plans.
I was just about to say, it's all well and good that we have all these ideas, but where does the money come from? How much of the FIFA legacy money that we've got, how much will that be going into the development structures?
Well, most of it will go into that. So the Legacy Trust decided that the money, the 450 million that was left in the Legacy Trust, would be spent over a period of 10 years. Most of that money goes, and it goes by application, to SAFA for football development. So in the first 2 years of funding, most of the funds have gone into setting up these under 13 and under 15 leagues, into women's football, particularly at a youth level, and into our women's a national academy, as well as beach football and futsal.
Yes.
So most of the money from the Legacy Trust goes into football development. It's going to be handed out or assigned over a 10-year period, and certainly will be the underpinning of the funding that we need for the technical master plan and for Vision 2022. But we need other parties to come on board, and we've had 2 big corporate announcements. Last year Sasol, this year PPC Cement. We have another one lined up. And we've also launched something called Club 300, which is a way for small businesses, or smaller businesses, to become involved. We're saying, become a member of this club, At 60,000 Rand a year, we've got some great membership benefits like sweet tickets to Bafana matches, Chiefs Pirates games, Bafana shirts, visits by former legends to your offices, to your premises. And for 60,000 Rand a year, that money will go into funding the SAFA Development Agency, of which I'm the head, to enable us to really have the capacity to ensure that we generate the funds and we deliver the program management that SAFA needs at all levels to implement our ambitious plan.
Realistically, we won't see a very successful Bafana team for the next World Cup even, because the plan is 2022. But when will we see, if you could put a date to it, when will you see that we have our proper structures in place, successfully working through a pipeline system to make our senior teams as successful as we'd like them to be?
I'm hoping that we will see signs of it in 2018. That's still 4 years away. We've already started, so I think that we hopefully will see signs of it in 2018. Certainly qualification, getting through the first round. Maybe not all the way through to the semi-finals or quarterfinals, which is where we really want to be. But I think that where we'll start to see these signs happening are in the youth teams, under 17s or under 20s. Now, they both right now are involved in qualifications for the Cup of Nations. This cycle might be too soon, but certainly the next cycle, which is in 2 years' time. So I would say our first real benchmark should be our under 17 team that will be competing in 2 years' time. We'll start to see them qualifying, we'll start to see them performing, hopefully the under 20s as well, because that would have been, had the under 17s, they will graduate into the under 20s. So I would say that our benchmark, certainly the benchmarks that I've set myself for assessing how well we're doing, would be how well is the under 17 teams doing in 2 years' time. Now, with some luck, and football has a lot of luck in it, and some clever planning, we can make those and start to see those successes earlier, hopefully with the under 17s and the under 20s of this season. If we get those ones through to the African Championships, which would be great if we get both of those teams through, and if both of them do well and get to the World Cup, I think then we're in for great success. But that's still a challenge.
Robin, we've unfortunately run out of time, but we'll definitely be speaking more about this issue.
Thank you.
That's all we have from Game On. From me, Mahreen, Chenia. Goodbye.